Hey, please, please, I'm leaving. I'm leaving. Hey, hey! That was through a whole fucking field.
Yeah, I didn't go in with any eyeshadow because I didn't.
A home surveillance camera picked up something unsettling, and after seeing the footage, the mother began questioning everything about her house. For a while, there had been random sounds, objects shifting without explanation, and an uneasy sense that someone was there. She ignored it before, but this video made her rethink it all. In the footage, the babysitter walks into the kitchen after realizing something is burning, leaving the child alone for a few seconds. During that short time, the child heads toward the front door. Then it gets strange. The child suddenly pauses, turns back, and quietly says, "B." Right after that, the door shuts hard and fast. Not like it was pushed by the wind, but like someone intentionally closed it. The clip has divided people online. Some think it shows a spirit, maybe the child's deceased father stepping in to protect them. Others believe it could be some kind of protective presence taking a familiar form. Whatever the reason, the mother now questions every odd noise and shadow in the house. After seeing the video, she is convinced something was there, though it did not seem to want to hurt the child. Someone was throwing snow into what seemed like a small opening in the ground. Without warning, the snow-covered surface gave way and fell straight into the hole just a short distance from his feet. The gap was much larger and deeper than it first appeared, dropping sharply downward. What looked harmless at first turned out to be seriously dangerous. Thankfully, the video ends with him backing away safely. On a TikTok page called Callie, a clip posted in 2020 shows something that still has people confused. A little after 9 p.m., a home security camera catches a young girl heading toward her front door. At first, everything looks normal, but what follows turned the video into one of the more unsettling clips being shared online.
Because it's not fully dark yet.
A few seconds after she walks inside and disappears from view, something shows up in the background. A tall, shadowy shape slowly steps out from the yard. It moves with purpose, inching closer to the house before stopping right at the front door. Then, it just stands there for several seconds, facing the entrance. There are no clear features, no sudden gestures, only a dark outline captured by the camera. The girl was already indoors and safe, but whatever lingered outside that night was never identified and never appeared again. A TikTok creator known for posting upbeat lifestyle videos, everything from travel clips and music to trends and daily routines, had a very different kind of experience on December 4th, 2023. They were on what was supposed to be a calm solo camping trip in a public forest, just a quiet night surrounded by nature. But the peaceful vibe didn't last long. Out of nowhere, a man showed up at the campsite and started acting hostile, insisting the land belonged to him. What began as a relaxing evening under the trees quickly turned into a tense and unsettling situation.
Oh no. Oh no. Hey, please, please, I'm leaving. I'm leaving.
Recho later explained that the area was public land, but the man refused to believe it and aggressively claimed no one was allowed to be there. The encounter escalated almost immediately. He became enraged and started pouring gasoline over the tent, threatening to set it on fire if they did not leave right away. Terrified, Recho grabbed a few essentials and ran toward the car, only to find it had already been damaged, likely by the same person. The situation grew even more intense when the man reportedly chased them through the forest, yelling and swinging a bat. Thankfully, they managed to get away without being hurt. Tourists hiking in the mountains of Cyprus stumbled on something surprising: seashell fossils lodged in rock thousands of meters above sea level. These were not tiny pieces washed uphill, but well-preserved marine shells, estimated to be about 2 million years old. The location made the discovery even more striking. They were nowhere near the coast or a river, but high in rugged terrain. Geologists explained that this region was once part of the ocean floor. Over millions of years, tectonic forces slowly lifted sections of the seabed upward, eventually forming the mountains seen today. Similar marine fossils have also been found high in ranges like the Himalayas, the Alps, and the Andes. Still, standing on a mountain and realizing it was once underwater is a perspective-shifting experience. Instagram user Joseph Aguilar, known for sharing close wildlife encounters, posted a tense moment from a trip through the northern region of Tadoba National Park. He was riding in a safari vehicle alongside a park ranger, with another ranger jeep trailing behind them. As they moved through the reserve, the ranger casually explained safety protocols, saying that in most dangerous situations, firing blank rounds is usually enough to scare animals off without causing harm. Just seconds after that explanation, they found themselves facing a situation where those procedures were suddenly no longer just theoretical.
With the baby, I'm going to reverse.
Suddenly, a herd of elephants stepped onto the road ahead. The driver quickly threw the vehicle into reverse to back away. Out of nowhere, one female elephant rushed toward them. With no time to think, the ranger fired a blank round. The loud noise stopped the charge and the elephants moved off into the trees. No one was hurt, but it was a sharp reminder of how fast things can go wrong around wild animals. On October 5th, 2025, Dee from Dee's Dark Adventures headed out to capture another nighttime exploration in the woods. Her channel focuses on real experiences in abandoned and supposedly haunted places, where the quiet and darkness can make everything feel more intense. That evening, she and Bear made their way deep into the forest, stopping near an old livestock enclosure. The air felt thick and freezing, and the silence was the kind that makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up. Then, out of nowhere, the camera jolted hard. Whatever happened, it started before she even had the chance to explain what was going on.
But those woods look closer than they are. What?
Did you hear that?
Listen, listen.
Holy smokes, look.
Dude, turn.
I just heard something come from the barn, too, but that was 2 huge quacks.
I wonder if it was answering the one back there.
Did you hear that?
That wasn't a gun, was it? Pap, pap. Well, that one knocked.
It was like some little...
Dude, careful, you're gonna break your damn neck. I'm wondering if it answered the knock from that one over there.
Yeah, I just heard something like walking right behind.
Dude, this place is crazy, I'm telling you. Screams, everything.
Earlier that night, Dee and Bear set up their equipment beside the collapsed livestock pen, its beams covered in moss and nails rusted with age. They had just started recording when knocking sounds echoed from the woods. It wasn't the wind. The night was completely still.
I told you, when something landed on that barn and like took off or something, like a huge rock or something big, it had to be 80 plus pounds that landed on that.
80 pounds?
On the barn, and it didn't break, it didn't bend, it didn't nothing. Like, it was just so heavy, it had to be something huge. And I'm just 80 pounds at least. If it was any bigger, it would have crushed it. All right.
Is that an eyeball?
Yeah.
Is that a huge eyeball?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Wow. Right.
I'm sorry, my bad. I don't see it. We need to find a spot and sit and be quiet and watch.
Put down some tadpoles.
So far, we're the ones walking and they're doing stuff. I think that we walked into them knocking, but they would usually stop.
I wasn't happy with my knock. That old post.
What was that?
How would you call a dog?
How?
Everybody says you don't want to. Like, yeah.
No, you don't.
How would you tell them a dog? Whoa.
Stop.
Hey, a minute ago there was something bigger.
Hold on, dude. Did you hear that?
That's something different.
Alright.
Yeah, right.
I'm trying, man. That wasn't real. That wasn't a real goose.
It sounded crazy.
That sounded weird.
Is there water around here?
There's a river, but it's way, 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 way that way. Like a 30, 40, maybe an hour walk. Now the owl's over there.
That is so crazy, man. It's like the owl's going with it too. The first thing was back right behind you.
I know. That's what they do, man.
That was two totally different signs.
A moment later, another noise carried through the trees, almost like ducks or geese calling out, even though there was no water nearby. Then 2 sharp knocks hit the pen walls. Dee's camera picked up a faint yellow shine in the distance, like eyes reflecting in the dark. As they pushed deeper into the woods, the path disappeared under low branches and thick fog. A sudden crack made them freeze. Dee's flashlight started to flicker. Then something heavy, easily around 80 pounds, slammed onto the roof above them, yet somehow left no visible damage.
My light is not... Oh my God! My lights are getting... Yeah, it's the second one. I've only got one left. Dang. All right. Stupid light, get off. I'm stuck on these stupid bushes. I'm gonna come out a little bit more. Well, I can't see. The closer I get to these, I can't see over, and I keep hearing things. So I'm trying to be as far back as I can. Wow! All right, my whistle's scared. Listen. Ah!
Hey! Ow, son of a... What the heck just happened? What happened? Hey! What just happened? Huh? Holy smokes, man, you're freaking way back here. Come on. Hey, we gotta get, how do we even get out of here? That was through a whole freaking field.
Oh, my back is...
There's a path. It just yanked you right through all that.
Where's my camera?
I don't know.
Oh my God, here. It's still going. Oh my God. It just drugged me.
I gotta get my camera.
Oh my God, dude. Okay, we gotta go.
I have no idea. Get your bag.
I'm trying. Go get your stuff. I got mine. Go.
I got your one bag. Come on.
It was thorns.
Let me see.
I don't want to let right now. We'll get to the truck. Go. Oh my God, my back is bleeding. I can feel it. It wouldn't let go until I said Jesus. As soon as I said Jesus, it let go. I want to go. Are you okay?
Sorry.
Oh my God, dude, my bag. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Okay, let's go this way. I don't know this.
The forest went silent before a deep growl echoed through the trees, followed by a sharp, rotten smell. Dee felt watched, and the air seemed colder on one side of the trail. In a clearing, they found leaves flattened as if something large had been there. Then came running footsteps and snapping branches, and a howl that circled them. The camera caught glowing eyes again, closer this time. Her flashlight flickered. A red glow flashed about 6 feet above the ground, and she was suddenly pulled backward. The camera hit the dirt as muffled shouts and sounds of a struggle followed. Dee cried out and spoke one word. Everything stopped. They ran from the forest. Dee later confirmed she suffered minor injuries. A homeowner in Mississippi heard strange sounds late at night and decided to check the doorbell camera. The footage showed a large animal calmly walking across the front yard, and it looked like a full-grown lion. There are no nearby zoos or wildlife facilities in the area, which made it even more confusing. People who reviewed the clip said the lighting and movement seemed real, with no obvious signs of digital editing. There were also no reports of an escaped exotic animal and no public warnings. So far, no official explanation has been provided. A TikTok account called C. Bennett Photography, LLC, posted about a frightening night. Shortly after going to sleep, a mother heard the back door open. Thinking someone had come inside, she quickly woke her partner, Jonathan. When they hurried to check the house, they discovered something even worse. Their child, Emerson, was gone. Emerson had been sleeping on the couch earlier, but now she was nowhere to be found. When her mother stepped outside, she noticed the truck lights were on. Sitting inside the vehicle was Emerson. As soon as she saw her mom, she climbed out and ran over. They brought her back inside, and she soon drifted off to sleep again. The next morning, when her parents asked what had happened, she said she did not remember leaving the house at all. While trekking through a remote desert in an undisclosed area, a hiker noticed something that did not seem ordinary. Off in the distance, a slim road disappeared into a tunnel carved beneath a mountain, with no visible endpoint. There were no signs explaining where it led or what it was built for. If it extends underground, it could run for an enormous distance, possibly hundreds or even thousands of kilometers. With no official details about its purpose, the discovery left him questioning whether it was a routine structure or something more concerning, and whether approaching it would even be safe. A man is by himself at work, filming what seems like a normal shift, when he suddenly hears a voice that sounds exactly like him. Not close, not slightly off, but the same as his own. What makes it worse is that he says this has happened before. Check out this unsettling clip.
Oh my God. Boss? Ikaw na, boss? Tingog ko eh.
The place was supposed to be empty. No co-workers around, no visitors, only him inside. So if that is the case, who replied? What makes it even more disturbing is that he actually responds to it. In many legends about entities that imitate voices, engaging with them is considered a serious mistake. The belief is that once there is a reply, it signals awareness and allows the encounter to continue. These beings are often described as copying, watching, and slowly pushing limits until they get recognition. That is why the video unsettled so many people online. Not just because of the strange voice, but because he chose to answer it. And after that, things only escalated. Late one night, a man went to explore a location locals call the Crybaby Tunnel. Places with that name are linked to old urban legends across parts of the United States, especially in Texas and Ohio. The details change depending on who tells the story, but they usually revolve around a tragic tale involving a mother and her child near a tunnel or bridge. Some versions say the baby was abandoned. Others claim the child died in an accident involving a train or a fall. The legend says that on certain nights, the sound of an infant crying can be heard in the darkness. While he was walking through the area, he suddenly picked up on a soft, distant cry that seemed to echo through the tunnel. There was no one in sight, and the crying did not seem to come from anywhere specific. The sound continued, echoing through the darkness without a clear source. Growing more uncomfortable and unsure of what he was actually hearing, he decided not to stick around. Instead of searching for an explanation, he turned around and hurried out of the tunnel and away from the area. This strange incident is still unexplained. A TikTok user known as MamaLady6 said she was out for a calm evening walk in the mountains near Lewin, California, on her way to a Christmas event when something up ahead made her uneasy. At first, nothing seemed out of place, but when she slowly pointed her camera toward a nearby house, the source of that feeling became obvious. What appeared on screen did not look like festive decor at all, but something far more unsettling.
Look at this. What?
It's a little bit freaky.
I thought it was a person for a second.
Okay.
Don't go in that house because you're
On the front porch, a tall, life-size doll sits perfectly still in a chair, set upright like it was carefully arranged. Nothing shifts in the clip. There is no sudden movement, no obvious strange activity. Still, in the quiet of that remote mountain road, the figure feels out of place. Maybe it is just a decoration or someone's prank, but its presence alone makes the video deeply unsettling. Sometimes the most disturbing part of footage like this is not motion, but the complete lack of it. Hikers came across a remarkable piece of amber with an ancient termite trapped inside and handed it over to researchers. The insect was identified as a hydromethane termite, estimated to be about 22 million years old, preserved when sticky tree resin hardened around it. What makes it even more fascinating is that the amber also holds tiny pockets of methane from that same era. Scientists believe the trapped gas could provide clues about Earth's ancient atmosphere and climate conditions. Finds like this offer rare, direct evidence of life and environmental history from millions of years ago. A young woman keeps hearing strange noises in her house late at night, soft footsteps and faint movements that make it seem as if someone is there. Each time she checks, everything is normal. Doors are locked, windows untouched, and no one is inside. This goes on for weeks until one night the sounds start again, but this time they are coming from outside. She grabs her phone, starts recording, and slowly walks toward the source. If another person who looks exactly like her appears, the only option is to run and hide. As she walks toward the open garage, her camera catches something unsettling. Behind a tree near her yard, a pale face is visible, completely still and watching. There is nobody in sight, just a head partially exposed from the trunk. The moment she notices it, she runs back inside. Later, she says it might have been something paranormal. But if that is true, where was the rest of it, and what was standing in her yard that night? Someone hiking in a remote area of the UAs recorded a clip showing a strange, human-like shape in the distance. The figure appears very pale and unusually thin, moving in a stiff, awkward way. At times, it bends low to the ground, almost as if it is struggling to move properly. Online viewers quickly compared it to so-called pale crawlers, creatures described in internet lore as thin, light-colored beings that move unnaturally and keep their distance before disappearing. Still, the video quality is poor, and the movements could easily be the result of editing, distortion, or perspective, making it difficult to determine what was actually captured. In January 2020, a service member was assigned to guard duty at a checkpoint near a military base. Late one night, around 10:30, the quiet routine was suddenly interrupted by something unusual. A powerful, unfamiliar noise started carrying across the area and did not fade quickly. It went on for about 45 minutes before finally stopping around 11:15 p.m. The moment was captured on video, though it was later taken down due to security concerns. Another service member mentioned hearing the same sound the previous night. The surroundings were checked for any possible explanation. A town about 1.5 kilometers away, a nearby railway track, and a concrete water tower were all considered, but none were operating at the time. The air was still, with no wind, construction, drills, or recorded activity. Under normal circumstances, nothing nearby should have caused a sound like that. A man was trekking through the swamps of Maine when he came across a wild elk. He stayed close enough to film it while the animal kept its eyes locked on him. Within seconds, the elk suddenly rushed forward and the recording stopped abruptly. Elk are extremely large and powerful animals, and they can cause serious harm if they feel cornered or disturbed. Keeping a safe distance is essential when encountering wildlife like this. On March 14, 2023, a man was at a laundromat in Araruna, Spain, finishing up his laundry. Once his clothes were done, he grabbed his bags and headed outside. Just moments after he stepped out, something unexpected happened. A dryer close to the entrance suddenly blew up. If he had remained inside just a little longer, the outcome could have been serious. Authorities later explained that a lighter had been left in someone's pocket, and the heat from the machine caused the butane inside to ignite. Thankfully, no one was injured. After the incident, the laundromat put up clear signs urging customers to double-check their pockets before using the dryers. A man was crossing a frozen lake where several cars were parked when he spotted something that looked seriously risky.
Oh, that's nice.
A fracture had split across the ice, and the weight of the parked cars was pushing water up through the opening. That added pressure made the surface even more unstable and increased the chance of it giving way. It was a clearly hazardous situation. No update was ever posted, but hopefully anyone close to the area was alerted before things got worse. A woman filmed a house tour on her phone so her husband could see the property afterward.
And that goes...
As she opened the door, the footage seemed to show a head shifting behind some nearby objects. She caught the movement and moved in to check, but the area looked empty. The only other person there during the showing was the real estate agent. Later, while rewatching the video, she realized the figure had actually been recorded. It was not just her imagination. Whatever appeared in that moment still has no explanation. Late one night, two people were driving down a quiet back road inside a park when they spotted something ahead on the pavement. As they eased off the gas, the shape came into view, a figure walking directly toward their car. The mood shifted instantly. The video shows them slowly reversing to keep their distance while the figure keeps coming closer. With limited room to maneuver, they try backing into an open field behind them. Just before anything is revealed, the footage ends. Since the clip was later posted online, it is assumed they got away safely. Still, whatever was approaching them on that dark, empty road was never clearly identified. While sorting through old home videos and photos from nearly 40 years ago, a man came across footage of a family outing with his father and siblings. At first, everything looked normal, but watching it again decades later, he noticed something he had never picked up on before: a person standing in the background. When he asked his family about it, they all insisted no one else had been there that day. No strangers, no friends, no one passing by. Still, the figure was clearly visible in the video. Disturbed and confused, he uploaded the clips online, hoping for answers. Not long after sharing them, his account was suddenly removed without explanation, and no updates ever followed. In December 2013, a normal drive through the Nevada wilderness turned into a fight for survival. A Jeep carrying James Glanton, 34, Christina McCanty, 25, and 4 young children veered off the road and flipped into a deep ravine in a remote area. With temperatures dropping to minus 21 degrees, they were cut off from help. Leaving the vehicle would have exposed them to deadly cold, so they stayed inside the overturned Jeep. For nearly 2 days, they worked together to stay alive. Using whatever they could find, they built a small fire, heated rocks, and placed them inside the tires and cabin to hold warmth. The vehicle became their only protection against the freezing wind. They huddled close, conserved energy, and focused on keeping the children safe. Eventually, rescuers found the crash site. Remarkably, all 6 survived, and none suffered frostbite. In life-threatening conditions, their calm decisions and teamwork saved them. On June 26, 2025, a video posted to the channel Uncle Reggie shows the host setting up a small tent after a long, unplanned hike that left him drained and carrying too much gear. He takes off his boots, ready to rest, and talks honestly to the camera about it being his first solo camping trip. Even though he tries to sound steady, there is clear tension in his voice. Being miles deep in the woods alone brings a heavy kind of quiet that feels different from anything shown online. As night settles in, he admits that videos do not capture the real sounds of the wilderness. He keeps a firearm tucked under his legs inside the tent, within reach, as the darkness closes in around him.
Did you hear that? Never heard that before. But one thing I do know is animals don't like fire. So that is why I made sure I had a fire. Definitely getting closer. all I know, if something happens, it's gonna happen on camera. That's for sure. And it's so dark in the woods that when you look up in the sky, it looks like it's actually could be earlier than what it is. But it's actually 10 o'clock. Whatever it is getting closer. But we shall see.
Then it happens. A faint but clear noise breaks the silence. He freezes and whispers that he heard it. The sound comes again, closer and steadier. He says animals avoid fire, which is why he kept it burning. His breathing quickens as the noise moves nearer. He says if anything happens, it will be on camera. The sound gets closer. He retreats into his tent, saying the fear has taken over. Whatever it is getting closer.
Info about the camping. Of course, I overdone it with some things. I'm starting to observe that what's changing is I'm getting rid of this sleeping bag, and yeah, I'm gonna do it a little different, but I really did enjoy it. Whenever I finally calmed down, I had to call somebody to make me feel better. Hearing these noises, they do play a trick on your mind, so be prepared for that. Make sure you're not somewhere too far where you don't got absolutely no signal, and especially for your first time. But yeah, I did plan on showing y'all everything I had. I don't think that's gonna actually happen, because really this is the bulk of my items. About to finish cleaning up, get myself together, find a way to pack a little better this time, so the walk up out of here won't be so excruciating. But
when morning light finally breaks through the trees, Reggie appears worn out but calm. He says he hardly slept and stayed on a call all night to ease the fear of being alone. Later, he admits he brought too much gear but was not mentally ready for the isolation. He explains that being alone in the dark can make ordinary sounds seem threatening. The noises were probably animals nearby, yet the steady pattern he described still makes him question what he heard. 4 hikers reached the 5,630-foot summit of Golden Ears in British Columbia, but as they began descending, a severe winter storm rolled in. Whiteout conditions made it too dangerous to continue. They used Apple's emergency SOS feature to call for help and sheltered inside a BC Parks emergency hut on Panorama Ridge stocked with basic survival supplies. Ridge Meadows Search and Rescue quickly organized a response, but helicopters were grounded and ground crews were delayed due to avalanche risk, heavy snowfall, and strong winds. The group remained stranded for 3 nights, relying on their gear and the shelter's provisions while waiting for safer conditions. When the weather finally cleared, rescuers were able to reach them by helicopter and evacuate them safely. On February 24, 1978, 5 friends from Marysville and Yuba City, California, set out to drive to a college basketball game at California State University. Chico, but they never made it home. The group consisted of Ted Wire, Jack Hewitt, Jack Madruga, Bill Sterling, and Gary Mathias. After the game, they stopped at a convenience store and then began the drive back. Days later, their car was found abandoned on a snowy mountain road deep in the Plumas National Forest, far off their route home. The vehicle was in working order, had fuel in the tank, and could easily have been pushed out of the snow, yet no one was inside. When the snow melted in June, searchers located the remains of 4 of the men. Ted Wire was found inside an unused Forest Service trailer stocked with food and fuel, but had starved to death, his body showing extreme weight loss and frostbite. The bodies of Jack Madruga, Jack Hewitt, and Bill Sterling were found nearby, victims of exposure to the harsh wilderness. Gary Mathias was never found, and his disappearance remains one of the most haunting parts of the case. To this day, no one knows why the men drove miles off course, abandoned a working car in the snow, or exactly what happened during their final hours. In September 1997, a group of hikers set up camp inside a narrow slot canyon well away from the Colorado River. The weather above them looked calm and clear. What they could not see was a powerful storm hitting the higher elevations miles away. Without warning, runoff from that storm funneled into the canyon. A surge of water mixed with mud and debris tore through the tight passage. By the time they heard the roar, it was too late. A wall of water around 10 feet high slammed into their campsite and swept it away. 2 members of the group lost their lives, and their bodies were later recovered miles downstream days afterward. A TikTok creator known as TessaSecret0 posted a video in January 2026 that quickly unsettled viewers, though the footage itself was filmed years earlier in 2017. In the clip, her sister is sitting calmly, playing with an American Girl doll, and even putting makeup on it. At first, it feels like a simple, harmless moment. Then, out of nowhere, the atmosphere shifts.
Right now, but yeah, I didn't go in with any eyeshadow because I didn't want. Do you guys see that?
The doll's head slowly shifts by itself. The motion is slight but clear enough to notice, and it immediately catches the girl off guard, leaving her startled and unsure of what just happened. Dolls have always been tied to eerie stories, and moments like this only fuel that image. Some viewers argue the movement looks intentional, not random. Others think there could be a simple explanation, like a hidden mechanism or something out of sight, causing it. No strings or devices can be seen, though. When something appears to move with purpose, and there is no obvious reason, it is hard to brush off. Maybe it is an illusion, or maybe it is something harder to explain. A video filmed in northern Saskatchewan shows a massive, thick cloud of smoke hanging in the sky. The plume looks unusually dense, almost solid because of how compact it appears. At the time, there were no reports of nearby wildfires or industrial activity that could explain it. Some viewers speculated about a volcanic cause, but there are no active volcanoes in that region. So far, no clear source has been confirmed, and the origin of the smoke remains a mystery. During a winter visit to a cemetery, someone snapped a photo of the snow-covered grounds. The headstones and paths were blanketed in white, and no people or animals were around. At first, the picture looked completely normal, but looking closer, a faint human-shaped form appears between two graves. The figure looks small, pale, and standing upright, yet it casts no shadow and does not seem to block what is behind it. While cold weather can sometimes create strange camera effects, there is no obvious distortion visible in the image. That leaves one lingering question. What exactly was captured in that cemetery that day? During a visit to the Balar ruins, a tourist snapped a photo and did not notice anything strange at the time. Later, while looking through the picture, he spotted something disturbing. Among the trees and brush, a faint human-like shape seemed to be standing in the ruins. No one recalled seeing anyone there in person. The site, uncovered during construction of the Maya train, is already tied to deep history and ancient remains. Shaken by what appeared in the image, he posted it online for opinions. Some viewers claimed it looked edited or low quality, suggesting digital changes. The man denied that, saying the photo was shared exactly as it was taken. Even now, there is no solid explanation for the figure in the background. A TikTok video shared by user Nightmare Fuel shows a quick-moving shape darting across a yard in San Pedro. The figure enters from the edge of the frame and stops directly behind a man who is sitting outside on his phone, completely unaware. It lingers there for a moment, and when the man sweeps a flashlight around the yard, the shape seems to duck out of view. Seconds later, it suddenly sprints past him and disappears off camera. The man then looks up and shines the light again, as if he sensed something nearby. The footage has triggered a lot of online debate. It does not fully resemble a normal person, especially since the man never appeared to hear or see it, and the figure itself looks less defined than he does. At the same time, its movements do not neatly fit the idea of something paranormal either, leaving viewers without a clear answer. A hospital staff member working the overnight shift, known on TikTok as Mario Ramsey Zero, was on duty around 3:30 in the morning when she spotted something strange outside. From inside the hospital, she noticed that an empty building next door looked like it was burning, so she started recording. The video shows flames glowing inside the structure, but viewers also noticed something else. For a split second, a shadowy shape that looks like a person seems to form within the fire, almost like it's moving before it suddenly fades away. Later, she said she had no idea what the figure could have been, suggesting it might have just been shadows and light playing tricks, though some people aren't so sure. This is the final known photograph of Christopher McCandless. In the image, he stands holding a handwritten farewell note that reads, "I have had a happy life and thank the Lord. Goodbye, and may God bless all." The picture was taken in Alaska in 1992. not long before his death. At that time, he had been living alone in a remote area for months, surviving off the land with limited supplies. He spent his time exploring the wilderness, writing in journals, and reflecting on independence and life away from society. He later died from starvation, likely worsened by consuming toxic plants and being unable to cross a swollen river that cut off his return. His story was later told in the book Into the Wild, which was adapted into a film in 2007. The photograph remains a haunting reminder of his final days in the Alaskan wild. A couple was standing outside for a smoke when they spotted something unusual in the distance. Near a set of bushes, a dark figure shaped like a person appeared to be standing completely still. Caught off guard, they took a quick photo and hurried back inside. The man who later shared the image said he had lived there for more than 15 years and had never witnessed anything similar. It raises the question, was someone actually standing there in the dark, or was it simply the mind finding a familiar shape in the shadows? Late one night in Florida, a woman named Stoney was about to get into her car when she noticed something odd. Bags of clothes were being shoved out of a nearby donation bin. At first, she thought someone had climbed inside. Worried, she took out her phone and started filming. She looked inside the bin right away, checking carefully, but no one was there. It was only later, while replaying the video, that something disturbing showed up. For a split second, a shape seems to come out from inside the bin, and it looks a lot like a hand. She did not notice it at the time. If it really was a hand pushing the bag from within, why was there no one inside when she checked? The footage does not provide any clear explanation, leaving one unsettling question behind. What was actually in that donation bin that night? While hiking in Southern California, a man noticed something unusual along the trail. At first, it seemed like an ordinary gray stone, but when viewed from a certain angle, the rock clearly resembled a human skull. The details did not appear to be carved. The shape looked naturally formed. Intrigued, he decided to bring it home. After posting photos online, people reacted quickly. Many advised putting it back, saying items like that are often linked to bad luck or negative energy. It leaves an interesting question. Take it home as a rare find, or leave it where it was discovered? A couple visited a nearby cemetery at night to experiment with long exposure photography. They snapped a series of pictures and left without seeing anything out of the ordinary. Later, while going through the shots, they noticed something strange in one image, a human-shaped figure partially visible behind a tree in the background. It had not been seen when the photo was taken, and it did not appear in any of the other pictures. Whether it was someone standing there unnoticed or just a visual anomaly is unclear. Without the rest of the photos for comparison, it is hard to conclude, but the image certainly raises questions. Two friends were checking out an abandoned mine and snapped a few photos while inside. At the time, everything felt normal. The place was silent and deserted, just as expected. Later, while reviewing the pictures at home, they noticed something disturbing. In one shot, a face-like shape appears in the darkness right behind one of them. Neither remembered seeing anyone else in the mine. The site already had a grim past, with locals saying someone had died there years earlier. Near the entrance, candles and a tall welded metal cross stood as a memorial to that tragedy. Whether the image captured a strange play of light, simple pareidolia, or something tied to the mine's history is still uncertain. After spotting it, though, the visit no longer felt the same. This story comes from Brad Jigmaster, a YouTube creator known for his outdoor content, especially fishing videos shared with a laid-back, reflective style. His channel usually highlights the peaceful, almost therapeutic side of being out on the water, whether he's catfishing or bass fishing. But on July 17th, 2022, what was supposed to be just another ordinary day fishing took an unexpected and troubling turn.
I never knew today would be one of those days, but it was going to be one of those days. Old B-Rad didn't know he was going to be in for a big surprise. Looking back at it now, and I guess I was put there for a reason. Everything started going bad. I was going to do some catfishing, but my throw net got stuck in the water. There goes $20. I'm getting another one. It's cool. So I figured I'd do a little bass fishing. You know, get my feet wet. You see my little feet now, they dangling. But anyhow, stay in the video, watch a little bit with me, and I'll narrate a little bit more later.
It was something he never could have expected. The day had begun like any other. Brad was out on his kayak, filming relaxed footage and soaking in the calm surroundings. Then he noticed something drifting in the water just to the left of his kayak. At first, he could not tell what it was, but as he paddled closer, it became clear, and the realization hit him hard.
Now you see me, I turned around, I'm going a different route. But if you look to the left of the screen, just look at the left of the screen. Did you see it? You see my head? I am fucked right now in the head. Do you hear me? I'm up. I had to whip out my camera because nobody would believe me. What if my film on her was not important? I didn't know, you know what I mean? So yeah, what you saw was a man floating in the water. There goes my fishing trip. And that sounds selfish, I know, but I'm man. Okay. I'm really up. But anyhow, at this point, get ready to call the popos, and I realized I need to get out of this water and do that before I drop my phone. So I had to dually on back by this guy and get another look at him, which up some more, you know? I didn't want to hit him with my pedal, so I stopped for a second. That's how close I was. I was like, man, I'm tripping right now. Y'all don't even know it. I'm running to the water. I mean, I'm running to the land. I'm nervous. Just looking at it kind of up still. I'm body, man. Golly. I was messed up in the head. But anyhow, I made it to land, got up out of that thing quick as I could. And, fast forward. Let's go. Oh my goodness.
Floating in the water was a man, face up and completely still. Brad was stunned and clearly shaken. He grabbed his camera, not for attention, but because he knew proof would matter in a situation like this. The shock was so intense that he could barely put into words what he was feeling. What had started as a calm day of fishing instantly became something deeply disturbing. Trying to keep it together, he slowly backed away, careful not to interfere with the scene, and headed straight for shore to call the authorities. Even though he handled it responsibly, the emotional impact was obvious. His quiet trip on the water had turned into a tragic reminder that even the most peaceful places can hide heartbreaking realities. A group of friends was camping overnight in a remote forest when one of them suddenly lost his footing and almost dropped straight through the ground. It was completely dark, so no one could tell what he had nearly stepped into. They quickly turned on a flashlight and pointed it at the spot, revealing a narrow vertical shaft plunging deep into the earth. The beam of light could not reach the bottom. If he had taken just one more step without catching himself, the fall could have led to severe injuries, or something much worse. On the afternoon of January 24th, 2026, residents in Curahu spotted something unusual in the sky, a metallic, disc-shaped object flying overhead that drew immediate attention. Witnesses at a local stadium said it was clearly visible and had a smooth, saucer-like form as it moved in ways that did not resemble typical aircraft, including a sudden, rapid maneuver before it disappeared from view. The sighting was captured on video by Fermine Pengulaf and quickly began circulating online, sparking debate over what the object might have been. A woman was walking through a public park when she noticed another woman nearby standing completely motionless. Several minutes went by, close to 5, and there was no movement at all. The unusual stillness started catching the attention of others around. Specialists say situations like this can sometimes be connected to medical issues, intense stress, dissociation, or short neurological episodes. Without knowing more about the situation, there is no clear way to determine what was actually going on in that moment. A group of friends was hanging out outside in Arizona when they spotted something strange above them. A bright light showed up in the night sky, glowing clearly against the darkness. Not knowing what it was, they quickly pulled out a phone and started recording.
What is this? We are out here in Arizona trying to figure out what is going on. We're gonna see if we can get it dialed in at the phone. Oh, it's actually fire.
Oh, wow.
They're here. I don't know what else to say.
What in the world is that?
Once the clip was posted online, people started offering different theories, ranging from drones and flares to unusual atmospheric conditions. Up to now, there has been no official statement confirming what the light actually was. On May 21st, 2024, climbers made it to the south summit of Mount Everest at 8,749 meters during heavy traffic high in the death zone. Snow conditions were unstable, with soft layers and large overhanging cornices along the ridge. After the summit attempt, a section of corniced ice gave way near the Hillary Step while climbers were slowly advancing on fixed ropes. 4 climbers were swept up in the collapse but managed to save themselves. 2 others disappeared in the incident and were never found. The before and after footage shows just how dramatic the change was. Collapse led to a serious bottleneck on the mountain, leaving many climbers stuck and burning through their limited oxygen supplies. Eventually, teams carved out an alternate path to get traffic moving again. Once the new route was in place, the descent continued, and by May 22nd, climbers had made their way back down to lower camps. In November 1985, a hunter walking through Bearbrook State Park made a grim discovery, a rusted 55-gallon barrel hidden in the woods. Inside were the remains of an adult woman and a young girl. Investigators estimated the woman was in her 20s to 30s, and the child was between 5 and 11 years old. No missing persons reports matched them, and the case eventually went cold. 15 years later, in 2000, authorities searching the same area uncovered a second barrel, not far from the first. Inside were the remains of 2 more young girls. It became clear that the 4 victims were connected and had been deliberately concealed in the same remote location. For decades, their identities remained unknown. The breakthrough came through genetic genealogy, which ultimately identified the killer as Terry Peter Rasmussen, a man who had used multiple aliases throughout his life. He had died in prison in 2010 while serving time for another murder. Through persistent investigative work and DNA analysis, the victims were finally identified years later, bringing long-awaited answers to one of the most haunting cold cases in American history, often referred to as the Bearbrook murders. A couple visited a nearby cemetery to experiment with night photography. They snapped a series of pictures and left, unaware of anything out of the ordinary. Later, while going through the shots, they noticed something strange in one image. In the background, partly hidden behind a tree, a human-shaped figure seemed to be standing there. It had not been seen when the photo was taken and did not show up in the rest of the pictures. Whether it was someone else walking through the area or something harder to explain remains uncertain. Having the full set of photos would have helped, but if their account is accurate, it makes for a curious find. On October 10th, 2024, at about 9 p.m., a man was standing by the lakeshore in Pickering, Canada, enjoying a clear and quiet night. He decided to snap a photo of the sky. At first glance, it looked ordinary, but after taking a closer look, he noticed something strange. A row of bright lights stretched across the sky, evenly spaced in a straight line. He posted the image online, and people quickly began offering theories. Some believed they were satellites, others guessed drones. However, no official explanation was ever confirmed. Even now, no one knows exactly what those lights were or why they were there. A creator known for paranormal investigations and exploring reportedly haunted places. His channel usually features strange sightings, ghost hunts, and trips to isolated locations in search of unexplained activity. On November 21st, 2017, what was supposed to be a relaxed day out in the woods took a much darker turn. Sam and his friend headed into the forest in good spirits, joking around and not expecting anything out of the ordinary, but the mood would not stay that way for long.
Remember our last video when we was in the caravan? I did say to you we was going to go down to the woods, and today it's a little bit raining at the moment. So what we're going to do, we're going to show you the woods for the moment. It's quite spooky, to be fair. Look at it, little gap, a lot of little gaps. And until we get down here, but we're going to take you over here. The old Victorian wall. As well as all overgrown and all that. Oh man! Oh. Right, this is the woods where he's going to come through. We're going to make our way down to the bottom because there's a path like that. Do a little bit of junction. Let's do my favourite thing. Is there anyone here? Did you see that? You see, there's someone in yellow, all in yellow, come with a shovel, with a spade man. Let's find out.
At first, they ignored the gloomy weather and light rain, but things changed when they called out into the woods and noticed someone standing completely still among the trees, dressed entirely in yellow. The person appeared to move off while holding a shovel. Thinking it was strange but harmless, they joked around and tossed small sticks to get a reaction. That playful attitude disappeared instantly when the figure suddenly rushed toward them at full speed. Shocked, they ran, trying to laugh it off, but it was clear they were genuinely shaken.
Right, guys, seriously, I'm out. So we're gonna make our way back. Hopefully, we don't get chased by that fucking whoever it was. I don't know how to explain it. It's just fucked up, man. We're the only ones in the woods as well, so I'm not gonna do that again. No way. See you later, mate. Ain't getting up here, bro. He's got a spring. Come over there, come over there.
After they thought the situation had settled, the same person showed up again and ran at them once more. They hurried up a nearby hill to get away, hoping the climb would slow him down, but he was still gripping the shovel. Being startled in the forest is one thing, but being pursued by someone armed with a tool like that felt far more serious. The fact that he returned and chased them again made his motives seem unclear and unsettling. About 15 years ago, a Facebook user's brother bought an old photograph at a garage sale in Oregon. There was no date, no name attached, and no negatives included. The picture showed a calm backyard scene, but something stood out. Near the fence on the right side, a faint human-like figure could be seen. When the image was zoomed in, the shape looked small and crouched close to the ground. Specialists reportedly found no clear evidence of tampering or digital alteration. Even so, no solid explanation has ever been given, and the user later shared it online, suggesting it might show something paranormal. A Facebook user posted about a photo taken inside their home. The picture was supposed to show a damaged wall, so it could be sent to a repair worker. Later, while reviewing the image, the son noticed what looked like a girl reflected in a mirror. At the time the photo was taken, only he and his wife were in the house. His wife was standing off to the side and remained still to avoid getting in the way. No one else was there. The figure in the mirror appears unusually clear, making it hard to dismiss as simple visual trickery. So what was it? Reddit user Conflicted Gemini and his wife were hiking at Castle Rock State Park one spring when they stopped to take a photo along a misty trail. Everything looked normal at the time, but later, while scrolling through the pictures at home, they noticed something strange at the far end of the path. A faint, human-shaped figure appeared in the distance, clearly outlined against the background. The sight gave them chills, and they shut their computer without checking the rest of the photos. When the image was shared online, many commenters believed it looked like a ghost, with some even saying it resembled a soldier wearing a helmet, a detail that made the image feel even more eerie. This clip came from a dashcam livestream during the intense snowstorms that hit Buffalo in late 2022. While tuning in, a Reddit user spotted something strange in the footage.
Very good. Hey boys, Jim Rowling. Maylin, let go at him. I'll put it back in on the board.
A Along the right side of the road, a tall figure could be seen standing completely motionless. It looked thin, with long limbs and arms held outward. Due to the heavy snow and low video clarity, it was hard to tell if it moved at all. Some viewers offered a practical theory, suggesting it might have been one of those large Halloween skeleton decorations, like the oversized ones sold at stores such as Home Depot, possibly left outside after October. Through blowing snow and poor visibility, the shape appeared eerie, but it was most likely just a decoration made to look far more sinister by the storm. A family was going through their nursery camera footage when they noticed something terrifying. Next to their baby's crib stood a figure. The baby was awake, gripping the rail and looking directly at it. No one else should have been in that room. Later that night, another image was recorded. This time, the figure looked taller and clearer, with slick black hair, very pale skin, and a sharp nose. Even more disturbing, the face resembled a relative who lived in the house. After that, the family started thinking about other strange things they had experienced, like unexplained voices. They now suspect it could be what some call a mimic, something said to copy familiar people. Whatever it was, it appeared in the most unsettling place possible, beside their child. One evening while stargazing, a man recorded something odd overhead. In the footage, several bright lights move across the night sky in a way that does not resemble typical stars or passing planes. Their motion seemed controlled and unusual, rather than random or blinking like aircraft. After the video circulated online, people began offering theories. Some believed the lights could be UAPs or even UFOs. With no confirmed explanation released, the true source of the lights remains uncertain and open to debate. A visitor snapped this photo at Barnard Castle in England and didn't notice anything strange at first. It was only later, while going through the pictures, that a pale figure near the old stone walls caught their attention. The shape looks solid and distinct, not like a simple light reflection or camera glitch, and there's no easy explanation for it. The castle dates all the way back to the late thousands, and even has historical ties to King Richard III. People in nearby pubs have shared their own eerie experiences too, mentioning odd recordings with floating lights, shadowy forms, strange faces, and unexplained movement, many of them centered around the castle grounds. Locals genuinely believe there is something unusual about the place. In December, shortly after settling into a new place, a couple experienced something unexpected. Late one night, while they were already in bed, their Blink security system alerted them to activity in the living room at 12:43 a.m. They only noticed the alert the following morning. The couple said their dog had been upstairs with them and there were no candles, fireplaces, or appliances running that could have set it off. They had lived in the house for about a month and had never received a motion warning like that before. Some people online suggested a sudden temperature change or slight air movement might have triggered the sensor, but nothing was ever verified. Nothing else unusual occurred after that. Yet, the unexplained notification left them questioning what might have passed through their living room in the middle of the night. In 2023, a treasure hunter headed into Roosevelt National Forest with his dog, hoping to search for hidden valuables. Just minutes after starting the hike, something unexpected occurred. It involves Sam Nitch.
You can move on.
The noise was loud and unmistakable, enough to make him uneasy. He decided not to stick around and started heading back to his car. As he walked away, the camera showed his dog already crouched under the vehicle, refusing to come out and clearly shaken by whatever it had heard. Sensing the tension, he quickly got the dog inside and they drove off. Roosevelt National Forest has seen its share of unsettling encounters over the years. Whether the sound came from a large animal or something else entirely, it was powerful enough to convince them to leave immediately. A group of men kept experiencing strange activity on their property and decided to set up security cameras to catch whatever was going on. When they reviewed the footage, they were stunned. In one clip, a pale face could be seen peeking from the upper corner of a doorway. It was the first time anything visual had been recorded. They had no idea who or what it could be. A man trekking deep in a national forest stumbled upon something completely unexpected, a small cabin hidden far from any marked trail. It looked deserted, but when he carefully peeked inside, the scene felt wrong. In the floor was a pit covered with sandbags and buzzing with flies. Around the structure were crude alarm setups, like bottles positioned to rattle if someone approached. Outside, things grew even stranger. A nearby tree had various items nailed into it. Photos of people, belt buckles, bottle caps, keychains, rings, all intentionally fastened to the trunk. No one was present, but the atmosphere felt unsettling. After he posted about it online, many urged him to get out of the area quickly. Whatever the cabin was being used for, it did not seem meant for discovery. One freezing winter night, a couple snapped a simple selfie, and at first glance, everything seemed totally fine. They sent the picture to family without thinking much of it, but then someone asked a chilling question. Who is that standing behind you in the fog? Confused, they looked again and noticed a faint shape in the mist just over her shoulder. It looked like a pale face with shadowy, sunken eyes and a barely defined mouth. The couple insists they were completely alone when the photo was taken, and they never saw anything unusual at the time. Whatever showed up in that haze wasn't visible in person, and to this day, they have no idea what or who it could have been. On Christmas Eve in 2022, Bailey Page came back to her childhood house to celebrate the holidays with her family, a place she had always felt secure in. Later that night, after everyone else was asleep, her father stayed downstairs in the living room with only the soft glow of the Christmas tree lighting the space. Randomly, he took a picture of the tree on his phone and then went up to bed. The photo sat in his camera roll for weeks, unnoticed, until one day Bailey's stepmother was looking through his pictures and spotted something unsettling in the background.
So this was the image that my dad had taken. Prepare yourself for a jump scare, but this is nobody that I know.
Close to the Christmas tree, partly concealed by the darkness, a figure is visible in the photo. Bailey's father maintains that he was alone downstairs that night. Everyone else was asleep, and no one had been in that area of the house. So what is standing there in the shadows? The family cannot explain it. What makes the image even more chilling is what Bailey's stepmother shares afterward.
This is nobody that we know from our past. It's neither of my grandpas. But I will say that my stepmom said that the figure does resemble the man that she had seen standing behind my dad.
Months before Christmas, Bailey's stepmother said she jolted awake one night and thought she saw a tall man standing behind Bailey's father. She blinked and it was gone, so she brushed it off as her mind playing tricks in the dark. But when she later saw the Christmas Eve photo, she says she recognized that same shadowy shape right away. After that, the family started wondering if something strange had been going on in the house and shared the image with paranormal investigators. One medium reportedly described a heavy, negative feeling tied to the figure, but there has never been a clear answer. It could be a perfectly timed shadow or odd lighting, or it could be something far harder to explain. While doing maintenance in a park in downtown Flint, Michigan, a man came across something unexpected inside a hollow tree. Wedged deep in the wood was a firm object with clean, angular lines. It did not match anything naturally formed by the tree, like knots or roots. The piece looked deliberately shaped and tightly surrounded by the trunk. Some people later suggested it might have been an old boundary or survey marker that the tree had grown around over time, which seems plausible. Even so, stumbling upon such a precise shape hidden inside a tree would have been surprising. A Reddit user going by Willingness979 posted a photo of her husband, who had taken it at the scene of a roadside accident. At first glance, it looked like a normal crash site, but when they examined it more closely, they spotted something odd. There appeared to be a woman standing near the damaged vehicle. The strange part? Her husband was sure no woman had been there. The crash happened in a pretty remote spot, not somewhere random bystanders would just wander through, and only one man was involved, and he wasn't badly injured. After the photo was shared, a lot of people focused on that mysterious figure, saying it looked out of place and hard to explain. So what could it have been? Late one night, a Reddit user's trail camera was activated unexpectedly. When he reviewed the footage, he spotted something odd near a tree, a shape that seemed to stand out from the background. Not sure what he was seeing, he uploaded the image online to get opinions. The post drew a lot of attention and mixed responses. Some people said it was likely just a stump, branch, or natural formation blending with the shadows. Others mentioned pareidolia, the tendency to see faces or figures in random patterns. A few suggested going back in daylight to take a comparison shot. Still, One thing kept nagging at him. If it was only a tree, what set off the motion camera to begin with? Richard Grabenik, a YouTuber mostly known for posting music covers, once shared a story that still unsettles him. On August 4th, 2017, he was staying at his quiet summer home in the countryside when something strange happened. One evening, he noticed a disturbing figure in his yard, unlike anything he had seen before. Before he could react, it disappeared into the dark. Later that night, it came back. This time, when their eyes met, he felt a sudden chill. Acting quickly, he grabbed his iPad and set it up by the window to record proof of what he was seeing. Shaken and desperate for help, he even called a priest, hoping someone could explain or stop whatever was outside.
Oh my god. I can't believe this.
Hey, Mickey G.
Hey Mike, I need you.
I can hardly hear you.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
A little bit. Yeah.
Alright, you're not gonna believe this. I got it on video now. People think I'm nuts. It's on video, it's playing right now. I put the iPad in the window and now this thing's coming up to the steps in my backyard, Mike.
What's coming up?
It's like a weird demonic looking thing and it's like a human and it's all scratched down. And this is the second time this happened this week. And as I'm talking to you, this is all on recorded and it doesn't see me. I'm in that, you know, that sunroom? All right, I've been putting the iPad out. It's about around, and it happened. Weird things been happening around this time at night.
Can I record it?
You're on record. Everything's recording now. I can see the thing. It's like looking around weird.
Is it recording the video?
Yeah, right now it's on the video. It doesn't see me. I'm sitting back, but I can still see out the window really good. You should see.
Hear you?
No, it can't, but it's looking around like something out of a weird sci-fi movie. This thing is freaky. It's on video. Huh?
Not a person?
No, it's an evil identity. It's evil entity. This thing's like wicked looking. But it's a human form though. You gotta wait until you see the video. I got it on video.
Okay, good.
This is like one out of a million things that people they'll think they won't think I'm crazy no more. Wait until you see this. Oh my god, it's like, you should see this thing, Mike. Oh my god. Like a gargoyle. It's like a gargoyle, man. And it's like 35 feet away and it came out of those weeds. You know what I'm talking about?
In the footage, a pale, human-like figure moves steadily toward Richard's house. Its movements appear unnatural, with its head turning in different directions. As it nears the window, Richard watches in fear. The figure then slowly retreats into the darkness and disappears. Moments later, it returns from the shadows. Frightened, Richard asks the priest to pray for him, his voice shaking as the presence remains outside.
This is unreal. Just pray.
Just pray?
Yeah.
Yeah, praise you, Jesus. Father God, I just want to lift Rick up to you right now, Lord. I don't know why he's being tormented like this, Lord, but we know you know. And Lord, you've been speaking to him in visions and dreams concerning his work and different things, and the enemy is being attacked by you, Lord. And he's all worked up, and God, I just come against this. I bind these things right now, these evil spirits that are just harassing Rick and just coming into his yard. I just bind those things right now. I command them to cease and be still, be gone. I pray that you give Rick peace right now. I come against all fear. I bind that in Jesus' name. I pray, Father, that you just give peace and comfort, Lord, that he knows that Lord, that you are watching over, Lord. You are his rear guard, and nothing's going to call me. When you lay down at night, no sudden
Oh my God, there it is, Mike. It came back. Oh my gosh.
I command you to go in Jesus' name.
This thing is looking weird. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It knows something's going on, man. This thing is. Oh my gosh. Oh my. I don't know what happened. We got disconnected. I even called the minister. It went back.
As the priest starts praying in tongues, the figure outside begins moving sharply and unevenly. Its behavior changes as if responding to the prayer. Suddenly, the call disconnects without warning. The recording ends with no conclusion. Online reactions are mixed. Some believe it shows something unexplained, while others call it fake. Richard is left without answers about what appeared outside his home that night. Late at night, a woman was checking on her baby through a monitor after the child woke up. On the screen, the baby was inside the crib, on hands and knees, facing the wall. Then she noticed something disturbing. Another child seemed to appear near the wall, older in size and crouched low, facing toward the crib. She only has one child, and no one else was in the room at the time. According to her, there was nothing in that spot that could have caused a visual trick. The moment left her with no clear explanation. A woman on Reddit snapped a photo out of her window on a winter night and didn't think much of it. Nearly a year later, while looking back at the picture, she spotted something she had completely missed before. Standing in the middle of the empty street was a person wearing a bright orange ski mask, facing straight toward the camera. It was chilly, but not the kind of weather that usually calls for a ski mask, and it was late enough that the road was totally deserted. When she posted the image online, some people brushed it off as ordinary winter gear, but others felt uneasy about the empty street, the late hour, and the way the figure appeared to be staring directly at her. A woman ventured deep into a remote park with her camera, planning to photograph wildlife. After traveling about 16 kilometers from the main road, she began noticing unusual markings on several trees. Bark stripped away in a deliberate pattern that seemed to create a path. Intrigued, she followed the markings until they led her to a disturbing scene. A collapsed tent partly buried in snow, along with a foam sleeping mat and 2 tarps left behind. The equipment looked fairly new, not worn down by time. Nearby, rough steps had been dug into the earth leading toward a river, yet no one was around. The area felt unsettling, and she later admitted she could not shake the thought that someone might have been hurt or gone missing. Uneasy, she left and reported what she had found, but no public updates were ever released. The Channel Harbor explorers head back into the Australian bush, this time deep inside Bindery National Park. Their mission is to find a strange tent said to be connected to a past tragedy, where a man's remains were discovered near a creek, but not completely recovered. Harbor and a friend hike about 5 kilometers through thick forest while he shares the story. The man, who often camped alone in the area, died in circumstances that were never fully explained. Some believe the abandoned tent they are searching for once belonged to him, and has been left there ever since.
Friday the 13th. Good date to be hiking to a... Alright, so back to the story about this abandoned tent out here. Now apparently the body that was found in the creek further down, the fella actually, apparently loved this national park. He used to come out here and wild camp all the time and hike in the area, so sort of strengthens the case that this could be his tent. But we'll go have a look around and see what we can find. See if we can find anything with a name on it or whatnot. Won't mess it up too much in respect to the fella if it was his, but we'll have a look anyway. Yeah, it's probably going to take about an hour maybe to get to the tent, probably not even. See how we go anyway. Yeah, it's probably going to take about an hour.
As they move through the forest, they notice fresh animal prints stamped into the ground, big and clearly defined. It is a quiet reminder of how wild the area is. Harbor mentions that he keeps a knife with him for safety. After about an hour of hiking, they finally find the tent.
here we are. It's a bit weird, eh? It's like a kid's bag there. It's a hiking pack. Part of a chair. How long this thing's been here? I mean, the body of the fella was found, I think, 2009. So if it is his, I'm not good at maths. What's that? 15 years or so ago. Surely it can't still be standing.
The tent is still standing and in decent shape despite the years. Around it are a child's backpack, a broken camping chair, a duffel bag, and a large hiking pack. One item stands out and suggests a possible connection. Suddenly, a loud horn-like sound echoes through the forest. Both men hear it but cannot identify it. Harbor says he had planned to stay there overnight alone, but the sound changes his mind. They continue toward the creek where the body was found. The path is steep and narrow, and Harbor suggests a fall during heavy rain could explain the injuries.
Yeah, she gets a bit gnarly down around the corner there. I mean, if old mate slipped in here somewhere during flood time and got washed down there a little bit, I don't think he'd be able to get out. And that would probably do enough damage to turn you into just a torso, but it's speculation, we don't know that, so. But yeah, it's a gnarly canyon. Awesome spot.
It is only a theory, but it is unsettling. After checking the area, the two men make their way back up to the tent.
All right, we're back. All right, we're done and dusted. We're out of here. Yeah, she's a creepy old bloody tent. That one out in the middle of nowhere, and I'm guessing by some of the dates and whatnot we saw on the battery and a couple of those things and the cooker, they sort of marry up to around when he went missing or he was found. So I'm guessing that probably was his tent, but still unsure, not completely sure if it was or not. But anyway, we're out of here. We'll see you guys next.
Before leaving the park, they make it back to the car. Harbor talks about what they discovered, saying the dated battery, the worn gear, and the location all make it seem likely the tent belonged to the missing camper. He wraps up the video in his usual relaxed, casual tone. Someone getting ready for a camping trip decided to wash a couple of old sleeping bags that had been sitting in storage since November. They took them to a laundromat, and when one of the bags was unzipped and shaken out, a snake suddenly dropped onto the floor. Unfortunately, it was already dead. Later on, the snake was identified as a ball python, and it was suspected to be a lost pet, possibly belonging to a neighbor who had reported one missing months before. A Reddit user was out walking his dog in the Canadian woods when he decided to step off the main path for the first time, following a set of deer tracks. Instead of wildlife, he came across something unexpected, a small wooden structure tucked away among the trees. The spot looked isolated and rarely visited, almost forgotten. Beside the shelter stood a mannequin positioned upright in a way that felt intentional, almost like it was meant to warn people away rather than scare animals. Afterward, he asked locals if they knew anything about it, but no one seemed to have any information about who built it or why it was there. A group of hikers came across a strange animal that looked similar to a crocodile or alligator, but there was something different about it. Its tail didn't have the usual shape. Instead, it looked oddly curved and almost resembled a fish's tail. They snapped a few photos before letting it go back into its natural habitat. No one knows for sure why the tail looked that way. It could have been a congenital deformity or some kind of rare genetic mutation. Either way, it was an unusual and fascinating discovery. Eric, the creator of the Nomadic Fanatic YouTube channel, is known for sharing his laid-back RV lifestyle along with his 2 cats, Tara and Opie. His videos usually focus on simple moments and life on the road, but in July 2022, one trip took a turn he did not expect.
And I rolled into my campsite and noticed that several of my things were moved, like my chair and my tripod, and people were setting up camp in my campsite. Bad at confrontation, just so you guys know, but my tripod, that was where they're putting their tent and blocking me in, and then they got a 4-wheeler and a cooler. Apparently they just had to camp right on top of me in my actual campsite here. Then in front of my RV, you got these 3 boys setting up their tent right in front of my RV also. So when I rolled in, I was a little frustrated at what I saw because they even had a vehicle kind of blocking the entrance into where my RV was at. But I got out of the car, and I think my exact words are, "Wow, you guys just had to just camp right on top of me where I'm camping in my personal site?" And they said, "Oh, it's too full everywhere else." I said, "Well, it got really full here. You moved my camping chair and my tripod, and you just set up camp in my camp." "Oh, well, you know, we're gonna be here for the weekend. There's nowhere else to go." Common sense is definitely not common anymore, by the way.
He had expected a quiet stay at a campsite he knew well, but when he arrived, things felt off. Some of his items, including a chair and a tripod, had been moved. A group of strangers had taken over his reserved spot and set up camp right in front of his RV, even parking their vehicle in a way that blocked part of his access. They did not apologize and claimed there were no other sites available. Eric tends to avoid conflict, but the situation pushed his limits. The noise and lack of respect made it hard for him to feel comfortable.
The really messed up part about it is I'm so bad at confrontations that I don't even know how to leave if I wanted to. Like, what would I do? How would I say it? Would I just not talk to him, hook up the car, and just pack up? It's okay, Opie.
I'm the quarterback, but
I'm glad that was a fun teaching moment for that family of a-holes. Hey kids, if we get here late and people are already set up, just set up on top of them and make as much noise as possible, be as rude as possible, because that's what camping's all about.
Instead of confronting them, Eric chose to pack up and leave before nightfall. He was unsure how the situation might have unfolded if he had stayed. The next day, news came out that one of the campers who had taken his spot had gone missing. Later, the person was found dead at the bottom of a nearby cliff after suffering fatal injuries from a fall and not wearing a helmet. Eric had no connection to what happened, but the event was unsettling. It remains unclear why the camper went near the cliff or whether the fall was accidental. What is certain is that Eric's decision to leave kept him away from a tragic situation. In October 2003, 20-year-old Brandon Rumbaugh and 19-year-old Lisa Guerrieri left Scottsdale, Arizona for an overnight camping trip along remote Bumblebee Road to celebrate their first anniversary, planning to return the next morning. They never made it back, and when friends and family realized they had not checked in, a search was launched. On October 17, 2003, the couple was found shot to death together in the bed of a borrowed pickup truck, still in their sleeping bags. Both had been shot multiple times with a .25 caliber handgun, which was never recovered, and their deaths remain unsolved. Investigators did find a broken disposable camera at the scene containing some developed photos, including images of the couple and one unexplained shot showing an interior light fixture from an unknown location. No suspect has ever been publicly identified, and law enforcement continues to seek information to help solve the case. While hiking through the Arizona desert, a family stopped to take photos of the scenery. One person posed among the red rocks under a bright, clear sky, and the picture seemed completely normal at the time. They kept moving and did not think much about it. Later, after getting home and sharing the photos, someone pointed out something odd in the background. Partially hidden behind rocks and brush, there appeared to be a shape on the ground that looked unsettlingly human, possibly wearing green. At first, they brushed it off as shadows or an odd angle, but the more they examined it, the more uneasy they felt. No updates or news ever surfaced about it, leaving only the photo and unanswered questions about what was really captured that day. A Reddit user and his brother were out camping when a massive tree suddenly came down across both of their campsites. It smashed into a parked car and completely crushed a camper trailer, leaving both vehicles too damaged to move. Thankfully, no one was injured. Afterward, they discovered the tree had been rotting internally, even though it looked solid and healthy from the outside. Had it fallen during the night while they were inside their tents, the consequences could have been far worse. The incident is a reminder that even trees that seem stable can give way without warning. Tim Morozov runs a Russian YouTube channel focused on exploring mysteries and the unknown. He also shares DIY projects, but in this video, he visits a forest known locally for dark legends. Stories say a sorcerer lives there, either as a protector or something more sinister. On July 16, 2023, Tim goes there to camp and look for answers. As evening sets in, he and his dog arrive at the forest and search for a spot. The area looks ordinary, but he feels uneasy as he walks deeper inside. After choosing a spot and setting up camp, Tim relaxes slightly. He eats a quick meal and listens to the quiet forest as night approaches. He decides not to light a fire, wanting to stay unnoticed. As darkness settles in, the woods grow still. Just before heading into his tent, his dog Kukum suddenly stiffens, ears raised and eyes fixed on something in the distance.
Kuchum.
Tim feels uneasy. Kukum does not react without reason, and the way he is barking puts him on edge. Tim pauses, listening for any sound in the quiet forest, hoping it is nothing serious. But the barking becomes more intense. Knowing he cannot ignore it, he takes a breath and carefully steps outside to see what is in the dark.
Кучум, ты куда? Ты чувствуешь кого-то? Здесь есть кто?
Tim scans the darkness, looking across the trees, but sees nothing unusual. Still, Kukum stays locked on something out of sight, tense and barking non-stop. The silence around them makes it worse. Relying on caution, Tim grabs the thermal camera he brought with him. If anything is out there, it should show up. He slowly lifts it and begins sweeping the tree line, trying to find what has caught his dog's attention. Exhausted from the day and still uneasy, Tim goes into his tent and tries to rest. Kukum lies beside him, alert, listening for any movement outside. Tim keeps the camera recording as a precaution and closes his eyes. After hours of quiet, Kukum suddenly begins barking.
Кучум. Кучум.
Thinking it might be another animal, Tim waits, expecting his dog to come back on his own. But as the barking suddenly stops and Kukum does not return, he becomes worried. After a few minutes, Tim steps outside to see what is happening.
Кучум. Кучум. Друзья, я не знаю, что делать. Прошло уже 2 часа. Как я зову Кучума, он не приходит. Я надеюсь, что ничего плохого не произошло. И он всего лишь погнался за каким-нибудь зверем. Или просто ушел погулять. Кучум! Больше ничего не слышно.
Kukum is nowhere to be seen. Tim waits, hoping he will come back, but there is no sign of him. Worried, Tim lights a fire, thinking the glow might guide him back. He stays up through the night, but even after sunrise, Kukum does not return. Tim waits a few more hours, unsure whether to keep waiting or start searching. As time passes and his supplies run low, he finally begins packing up, still hoping his dog will appear before he leaves.
Пока собрал палатку. Если он сейчас объявится, то мы дальше продолжим путь. Пока он не пришел, я остаюсь здесь.
After packing his gear, Tim decides to search for Kukum. He had waited as long as he could and believed that if his dog could return on his own, he already would have. He heads into the forest, calling and whistling for him. The video ends there, leaving viewers unsure of what happened next. Later, Tim posted another video showing Kukum safe and healthy, confirming they were reunited. No evidence of the rumored sorcerer was found, but both of them made it out unharmed. While hiking in the high desert, a Reddit user named Marceline came across something she did not expect at all. A doorway built straight into the rock. She found it in McInnes Canyon's National Conservation Area near Fruita, along an easy 3-mile loop that begins at Devil's Canyon Trailhead. The structure looked intentionally placed, set into the stone, and inside it was simple and bare, almost like a small carved-out cave. There were no obvious signs explaining its purpose, leaving her wondering why a doorway would exist in such a remote spot with seemingly nothing behind it. While hiking one of Colorado's famous 14ers, a Reddit user snapped a photo without noticing anything unusual at the time. It was only later, while driving away and looking back at the picture, that they spotted something odd in the sky. On the right side of the mountain, the clouds seemed to form what looked like a human face. After posting the image online, most people said it was simply a natural cloud pattern. Others pointed out pareidolia, the tendency for the brain to see familiar shapes and random details. In the end, it was likely just a coincidence shaped by light and imagination. A Reddit user posted about a strange discovery near Bronx Park East in New York City. They came across an unusual collection of items in the park, including several pink school backpacks left behind. Curious, they asked a nearby man if he knew anything about them. He seemed uncomfortable and advised them not to touch the bags, claiming they were tied to something dark or supernatural. The user did not take the warning seriously and later asked the online community, especially locals, if anyone knew what might have happened there. No clear explanation was given, and most people simply suggested avoiding the situation altogether. Uploaded on May 11th, 2025, this video from the channel Oklahoma Adventures begins like their usual laid-back camping content, focused on simple bushcraft and cooking by the river. The group is known for calm outdoor trips across the American wilderness, but this outing took a different turn. What started as a relaxed day outside soon shifted into something far more unsettling, suggesting they might not have been alone and that whatever was nearby was much bigger and potentially more dangerous than expected.
Pero aquí andamos en los territorios del patón una vez más. Ya teníamos un buen rato caminando toda la mañana. Nos detuvimos aquí a hacer una comida porque ya hace hambre. Salimos muy temprano de la casa y el tiempo de almorzar tuvimos. Aquí nos vamos a echar un snack aquí en el territorio del patón. A ver si no vienen y nos arrebatan
la comida.
La comida.
Vamos a comer.
Vamos, aventureros.
After hours of hiking, they set up by a quiet river and began cooking over the fire. Then the birds suddenly went silent. Large birds circled overhead, and moments later, something big moved through the trees. Branches snapped, and heavy footsteps sounded close to camp. They quickly packed up, assuming it might be a bear, but uncertainty grew. Then one member saw something nearby that made them stop.
Escuché.
Algo corrió, quién sabe qué sería. Bueno, vamos.
¿Será un venado o algo?
¿Quién sabe? Vamos.
Aquí está una huella de algo.
¿Ah?
Aquí está una huella de algo, desde aquí hasta acá.
Y aquí hay más arcos también, mira.
Oh, sí, ese está puesto ahí, ¿no?
Sí, nomás lo atoraron ahí. Mira. Es un patón ese. Está nomás atorado ahí con el otro.
Sí, mira.
Huge tracks were stamped into the wet soil, too large for a person, spaced like something walking upright. Close by, they found branches bent and wedged together in a crude arch that did not look natural. The signs made them think of El Patan, a Bigfoot-like legend said to roam those forests. The silence, the disappearing birds, the heavy unseen movement, the prints, and the strange structure all seemed linked. As they left, the forest sounds slowly returned, but the feeling of being watched stayed with them, as if something was trailing just out of sight. Some viewers believe it was likely a bear drawn by food, but the size of the tracks, the two-legged stride, and the forced arch leave harder questions. Whether it was wildlife or something unexplained remains uncertain. A Reddit user posted a photo of her friend taking a photo while visiting Grafton Ghost Town. It was completely dark, so they relied on night mode to get the shot, and she was sure no one else was around since the area was quiet and still. But when the image finished processing, a clear human-like figure showed up in the frame. Since night mode captures light over several seconds, any movement during that time can appear solid in the final picture. Even so, the figure looked distinct enough to stand out, and whoever or whatever it was made no noise and was gone just as quickly. They still have no solid explanation for what appeared in that photo. A hiker exploring a quiet wooded area on the outskirts of Tennessee came across something unusual carved into a tree. The area had very little foot traffic, and the marking did not resemble a typical trail blaze or someone's initials. Curious and slightly unsettled, the hiker shared a photo online asking if anyone recognized the symbol. Some commenters believed it was probably just random graffiti or a personal mark left behind. Others speculated it might carry a more unsettling meaning. The hiker also mentioned feeling strangely uneasy during the walk, a sensation he had not experienced on previous hikes, which only added to the mystery surrounding the carving. A Reddit user named Troy uploaded pictures from a trip to a remote abandoned mine roughly 70 miles away from the closest town. Nothing caught their attention while they were there. Later, when looking back at the photos, they spotted something unusual in the distance. On top of a nearby hill, there seemed to be a figure shaped like a person. Some people online said it looked like a cowboy, while others believed it was simply a natural formation, such as a rock, cactus, bird, or just an effect of distance and angle. Since no other images from that exact viewpoint were posted, the mystery remains unresolved and open to debate. A trail camera was set up in the woods after locals reported repeated screaming that sounded human, not like wildlife. The spot was deliberately isolated, far from town and even farther from the nearest home, on fenced private land where you would not expect anyone to casually wander in. When the camera snapped 2 images late at night, it raised the obvious question. If this place is that hard to reach, who was out there and what were they doing? Without clearer photos or context, it is impossible to say for sure, but the most realistic explanations range from someone trespassing, lost, hiding, hunting, or doing something illegal, to a misleading image trigger caused by shadows, animals, or motion blur, making something ordinary look unsettling. A Reddit user named Amazon was about to head into a forest in Sweden when they noticed something unsettling near the trail entrance. 2 old baby strollers sitting side by side. Both were empty, and there were no adults or children anywhere around. Online commenters pointed out that the models looked like they could date back to the 1990s, which made the situation feel even more unusual. Some suggested they were simply abandoned, used as props for a prank, or left behind after being played with. No one has come forward with an explanation, and the reason they were placed there remains unknown, leaving behind an oddly eerie scene. On July 12, 2025, veteran adventure filmmaker Andrew Steenpier-White shared a remarkable video on his channel, ASPW Experience. With over 3 decades of travel and documentary work, he is known for his steady, logical approach to storytelling. That is what made this footage so unsettling. During a camping trip in Zimbabwe, near the shores of Lake Kariba, Andrew, his wife, and their local guide witnessed something in the sky that even he could not explain.
Andrew Steenpier-White. I am an adventure travel filmmaker. I've been doing this for over 30 years. And on a recent in Zimbabwe, I witnessed something that I cannot explain. So I'm going to ask you in the comments to share with me what you think this might be. I'm not a kind of guy that is particularly into conspiracy theories, particularly when they're ridiculous. But I'm also interested in them when they have some validity. So I feel as I have a pretty open mind when it comes to this kind of thing. My mind can't open enough to explain what I saw, but the beauty of this is I photographed it. So what I'm going to show you now is there were 3 of us, my wife and our Zimbabwean guide, Graham Sharp. We were sitting. The sun had long set. Everybody else was in their tents. We were sitting up having a sherry and looking at the night sky and just talking about stuff.
As darkness fell, the group relaxed beneath the stars, enjoying the calm when Andrew spotted something unusual overhead.
Said, hang on a minute, that star just moved. Strange, must have been a figment of my imagination. A few minutes later, it definitely moved. And I said, whoa, guys, that star, and it was a particularly bright star, that star just moved. So we all looked at the star, and it moved. It moved down and left, and then turned off. Okay, it's a man-made thing. It looked like a star, and it was stationary in the sky, like stars are. Of course, they're not stationary. They move, apparent to our location, which can be captured on a time-lapse camera. And guess what? I had a time-lapse camera running, and I realized, hey, whatever that was, my time-lapse camera is pointing in the right direction, I think. It's going to be towards the left of frame, but I think that my time-lapse camera will capture this. Then what happened? Another star appeared, and then that one came back. It turned itself on. Stars don't turn themselves off and on. Like a switch. Click, it's gone. Click, it's back on again.
Then another light appeared, and the first one switched back on. It was not normal. Stars do not blink off and on like a light switch. A bright point in the sky suddenly moved, faded out completely, and then showed up again. Andrew realized his time-lapse camera, which was already pointed at the sky, might have captured the strange event.
Now what I'm going to show you now is, because at that moment I said, hang on, I'm going to film this, and I got a camera and I faced it towards, it was very dark. The camera I'm using is pretty good in low light, but it's not magic. It did pick us up, and we started to discuss in real time what we were watching. The time lapse is not real time. Because it's so dark, each frame is 10 seconds. So the time-lapse camera would record and open its shutter, and each single frame, run at 25 frames per second in this case, is basically a 10-second exposure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play back our discussion on the banks of Lake Kariba, Matusadona in Zimbabwe. We were facing almost due west, pretty much 270 degrees magnetic, give or take. And the sun had gone down in that location. There were a series of hills, and I'm going to now go through and try and match up the frames recorded with the time-lapse camera to what we were actually seeing at the time, and then I might cut in my thoughts now as I put this film together of what I think this phenomenon, well, I don't know what it is, but I have witnessed a few things. And one of the things I want you to notice straight away is that it is fairly obvious that the phenomenon was exo-atmospheric. It was not within our atmosphere, because our atmosphere is stationary in the frame.
When he reviewed the footage, it confirmed what they saw. The light blinked in and out, and then more appeared beside it, 2, then 3, then 4 star-like points flickering and shifting in ways normal stars do not. To rule out common explanations, Andrew compared them to a plane that crossed the same frame. The plane's lights flashed along a straight path, while the unknown objects hovered, pulsed, and faded unpredictably. In the long exposure, they moved in sync with the stars, suggesting they were beyond the atmosphere. The next night, he set up again.
We are filming this, folks, because we are witnessing a UFO right here. Now, there is a camera I set up about 2 hours ago, maybe a little less, over there before the moon came up, which is a time lapse. We watched a star, bright star, and it was quite bright, and it turned off. And I noticed it turn off. Then it came back. Is it coming back? It's coming back. It's coming back. It's coming back.
It's moving.
Okay, it's moving
across the sky.
So now, looking at through the binoculars,
there's a second.
there is a
There's
second
the
one.
second
There's
one.
a second one below it. These are.
There's the third, and the fourth.
I'm not seeing the fourth. The third and the
Very
fourth.
bright.
There.
That one is very, very bright.
It's very bright.
That's been the brightest one.
Yes, the other two are coming in from the top.
Yes.
There are 3 of them coming in from the top.
I caught a sight of the fourth one, and there it's
The
dimming
fourth one is
again.
dimming and going out. So they're pulsing, going brighter and they're moving. They're physically moving, but they look like stars, right? So they have the same. They even twinkle a bit, don't they? They twinkle.
Yeah, they twinkle.
They twinkle like a star twinkles. And
But they don't behave like stars,
there's a
because
dance.
stars don't move like this.
No, there's a dance going in front of us, and it's happening this very second live while the camera is filming us.
And it comes back.
We will look at the time-lapse footage.
The same strange pattern happened again. Lights blinked in and out, moved across the sky, and reflected sunlight even after sunset.
Here is my logic. They're, as I said, out of the atmosphere, otherwise they wouldn't be moving with the stars, they would be stationary with the ground, Earth. So they're not drones or anything like that. We can discount that completely. So let's now assume that they are out of our atmosphere. What could they be? Remember, the sun has just set. So whatever they are, we are seeing reflected light. It's another reason why the light emanating from them is not consistent, sometimes much brighter than at other times, which suggests to me that they are not spherical, and that if they were flat and turned to reflect more light, they would appear brighter, but they're so far away that all we're seeing is a spot of light. And when not reflecting that much light back to us, and reflecting some, they are not reflecting as much light because they're not spherical. And if they are not spherical, then they are not natural. Or at least, I mean, asteroids and things like that are round. But asteroids and comets and things like that always move in a linear direction. They might change speed and things and appear to speed up, but they're affected by gravity, so they're moving in one direction. These were moving in all up, down, sideways, and varying in intensity, and then suddenly they would turn off, just gone. How do they turn off how do you turn off a reflection? You turn off a reflection by turning so that the side that is reflecting the light back is no longer reflecting the light back in your direction.
Based on the way their brightness changed, Andrew believed the objects were not spherical. Instead of acting like stars, comets, or meteors, they appeared flat, reflecting light depending on their angle. That ruled out known celestial phenomena, as well as drones or satellites. There was no sound, no interference, and no clear explanation. The synchronized pulsing and irregular movement did not match normal atmospheric or orbital behavior. The question remained whether it was unknown human technology or something more unexplained in the sky above Zimbabwe that night. Ugur Haliloglu is known for sharing calm, detailed camping videos that focus on quiet time in nature, cooking by the fire, and peaceful trips with his wife, Season. For over 10 years, they have explored remote places and embraced the stillness of the outdoors. But during one off-grid trip in 2024, their experience was challenged. What started as a normal, relaxing night under the stars shifted into something unsettling.
Duyuyor musun baykuşu?
Duyuyorum.
Of. Acı biber.
Sana mı denk geldi? Uğur bir şey.
Kaç.
Uğur aç kapıyı.
Geç karına.
Geç. Duydun değil mi?
Duydumdur.
A loud, sharp sound suddenly came from the woods, close to the tree line. There was no warning, no movement beforehand, just one sudden noise that broke the silence. Ugur and Season froze, then quickly left everything by the fire and went inside their camper. The quiet returned, but it felt tense. They tried to figure out what it could have been. Maybe a bear or a person, but there were no more sounds. Minutes turned into hours, and nothing else happened. They stayed inside until morning. Whatever made the noise never came back. Viewers remained divided. Some think it was wildlife, others suspect a human presence, but no clear answer was ever found. On September 29, 2024, a solo explorer walked into steady rain and complete quiet. She is part of L&S, a YouTube channel known for visiting abandoned sites and radioactive areas. With her partner in Moscow, she made this trip on her own. Her destination was a decaying village deep inside the Chernobyl exclusion zone. Carrying only a camera and a Geiger counter, she was there to document radiation levels and what remained of the past, not to chase paranormal stories. Still, as the cold settled in and the empty buildings echoed her footsteps, the atmosphere began to feel unsettling.
Пока мы с вами пробираемся вглубь этого села заброшенного, можете оценить погоду. Сегодня у нас 29 сентября. Только вчера на улице было плюс 27, а сегодня уже в свои законные права вступила осень, и на улице плюс 12 и моросящий дождь. Настоящая сталкерская погода. И мы с вами в таких суровых погодных условиях изучаем заброшенное село.
Rain had been pouring since early morning. She pushed through soaked bushes and broken paths until she reached what was left of an abandoned village. The houses were falling apart, roofs collapsed, and walls were bending as if they could give way at any moment. Plants and trees had taken over the streets and buildings. Her Geiger counter clicked steadily in the background, then suddenly jumped. The radiation levels here were far from low.
Наблюдаем. Заранее все равно есть, но оно небольшое. Можно совершенно спокойно здесь находиться, не опасаясь за свое здоровье, но превышение все-таки есть. Оп. Одни двери остались. Здесь уже большое превышение. Сейчас, секундочку. Где-то было 100 микрорентген. Ну, друзья, видите? Сейчас хоть не орет. То есть это село очень хорошо загрязнено. Смотрите, уже прошло сколько лет. И здесь такой нормальный уровень. И он растет. Сейчас мы с вами, как дозиметристы, исследователи, найдем это пятно. Конечно, для этого нужно использовать профессиональный поисковый дозиметр, но мы и своим бытовым находим пятна. Не знаю, 100 пока не могу найти, но увидите сами, 80.
She quietly noted the reading and kept moving. Inside the broken structures, there was nothing left behind. No furniture, no signs that anyone had lived there. Just empty frames of buildings and old pipes covered in rust. That is when she spotted it, a cellar door almost concealed from view. When she pulled it open, the rusty hinges let out a long, strained creak.
Да, погреб есть. Это кровать внутри. Можно устроить сталкерское убежище и ночевать сухо, температура комфортная. Вот так, как сталкером занят. В погребах можно хорошо переночевать. Вот этот домик. Ничего интересного. Абсолютно полностью раз.
Inside was only darkness and damp air, with a sense that something had once been there. Later, by the Ouge River, she stopped to eat as the rain eased. She said little and stared across the water. Alone, cold, and short on time before curfew, she still chose not to leave yet. Some places unsettle you not because of what you see, but because of what you do not. Viewers later praised her for going alone into such an isolated area, while others warned her to stay safe. Nothing appeared in the cellar, and nothing unexplained was captured on camera. She left unharmed, yet it still felt as if something had followed her out. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can stay updated with our latest videos.